Other guys, though, that are expected to make a big impact would be transfers from other colleges. 247 Sports has its updated transfer rankings, and Tennessee, which ranked in the top 10 with its recruiting class, is top 25 with its class of transfers. I thought it would be a little bit higher, but most of the teams ahead of Tennessee also have more transfers coming in. Number one is Colorado with 25 committed transfers coming in. So just a massive number of players coming in. The highest ranked player among the transfers at Tennessee, wide receiver Dante Thornton from Oregon. And we know that he is expected to come in and help make a difference in his ability to stretch the field with Tennessee's offense.
Yeah, I mean, he can run. He possesses the height as well, too. I mean, you want to be able to throw the ball up and let your receiver go make a play for you. And he has the height to be able to do that. I'm really excited about him. There was a conversation, I think it was on Twitter, about who is going to be the best receiver next year for Tennessee. And we've heard Thornton's name kind of be thrown out there by some of the fans. I mean, people are going to look at Brew McCoy because he's probably the most accomplished one coming back from last year's group. Ramel Keaton had a breakthrough season. Squirrel had a great bowl game, and we know how the slot position is going to be fed in this offense. So I've heard a lot about Thornton. I followed his recruitment a little bit before he went to Oregon. Tennessee wanted him then and certainly wanted him now and got a chance to get him, but he should be ranked high. I mean, you look at his measurables, his size and the speed, he has the ability, and then you pair it up with what Tennessee wants to do offensively, it's really easy to project that he's going to have a really, really good year.
We could see different categories kind of spread out in who leads the way. It could be Squirrel White has the most receptions. This conversation requires an assumption of health, right? Mm-hmm. How many games you play is a factor. Thornton could lead the team in yards per catch. Brew, great red zone threat, could lead the team in touchdowns. And obviously that's up for debate, but the different categories could be spread out as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a conversation about which four of these guys possibly could have the biggest impact, it may not be Dante Thornton. It may not be the wide receiver. You know, you look at you can make a case for everybody else on this list from Tennessee besides Thornton. You can make a case to put Thornton 4.
The two defensive transfers from BYU kind of need to be a part of this conversation, right? Keenan Peely, a linebacker transfer, and then Gabe Judy-Lally, who will compete for a starting position at cornerback.
1,000%. I mean, Juwan Mitchell goes to the portal. You got Jeremy Banks, who hits the NFL draft. So you lose two guys that at one point were starting and counted on. Got a lot of production out of those two guys. Aaron Beasley had a monster breakthrough season for Tennessee. A lot to build on this year, being kind of the guy. But you can look at Keenan Peely being maybe number 1, and then you can look at Gabe Judy-Lally maybe being number 2, and then Castles. You can make a case for him being 2 or 3 because you got to have multiple tight ends, and man, he's 6'6", 6'7", and can run, and he's going to be used a lot in this offense. Of course, you lose some tight end production there with Princeton Fant, so you bring in a guy that is versatile, possesses different physical attributes that you feel good about using him in different ways in your offense and lining him up with different positions, different formations. This is a strong 4 right here for Tennessee, and I said before, I say it again, like the wide receiver position here with Dante Thornton, it may be the least productive and important one out of these 4.
The other position where you look at their ability to impact, and you won't necessarily have statistics to back up their impact, but starts, snaps, avoiding bad stats would be on the offensive line. You have transfers from Miami, Texas that could help at tackle and guard as you have to replace a projected first-rounder in Darnell Wright, and then Jerome Carvin, who played a lot at guard. So Cart coming in from Texas and then Campbell from Miami. Those guys are expected to make a big impact as well. You just won't have numbers probably that back up what they do.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Colorado did in terms of like the volume of transfers that they've brought in. Yeah, I mean,
25 coming in for Colorado.
I mean, that's a recruiting class.
Yes.
I mean, that's
There are recruiting classes that can't get to 25 a lot of the time.
yeah. I mean, that's a big chunk of your entire roster, and you understand like why, because he's coming in as a first-year head coach. They have a new coach for a reason. They didn't have the talent to win in enough games, so you certainly understand why the number is so large. I thought that Tennessee did a really good job of addressing needs efficiently, not just taking dudes to take guys, not just to have a new body in the room that's not going to play. Like, they took players that you need. Like, you need to fill holes there on the offensive line. You did your research as best as you could, and the transfer portal is tough. Like, it's not a place where you go and you feel confident knowing that you're going to get someone that comes in day one and be productive for you the moment they step on campus. You don't know that. They're in the portal for a reason. Sometimes it's a bit of a crapshoot, but you can tell that there's a lot of thoughtfulness here and making sure that you didn't strike out, that you got guys that meshed and fit in with what you want to do from a cultural standpoint, athletically, intellectually. You got to have some football intelligence to be able to play this game at a high level and play it fast. I thought Tennessee was very, very particular in the type of player they brought in.
Probably one of the more competitive spring practices we've seen because of the amount of newcomers coming in for spring. It's more than you typically see when you include high school recruits and transfers coming in. I mean, you're talking about 20 guys or so, depending on who's available.
Man, if we get some good 11-11 in the orange and white game, it's going to be worth the price of admission. When we're so used to free admission in the orange and white game, it's the reason why. It's been terrible. It's been boring. I mean, if you get these early enrollees, you get some of these transfers, and you're able to stay healthy in the spring game, and you get some good 11-on-11 work, $5, that's nothing, man. That is nothing to pay for a good quality orange and white game. So I'm looking forward to seeing the competition in different positions. I'm looking forward to see the orange and white game and how these guys compete. Winter conditioning is always tough and brutal, and you're starting to see some of those videos come out from Tennessee football, the team building exercises and those tough workouts to kind of promote leadership and see who's going to step up and lead the troops. Again, I'm looking forward to the start of spring practices, who's going to stand out.